Well, welcome to my house. I am Frumpy Buckle, your fishing with Uncle Buck. And we're live, I guess, at the bait shop. In fact, I'm still down in Peru. Physically, I made it back in time. It's a quick plane. We got that elusive arapaima. He was a bugger, that's for sure. We're going to talk about him a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about some baits. We're going to talk a lot about the baits that we needed for that waterway. That's a level 58 waterway, and most of the baits that I took down there, it was I don't know how you want to pronounce it, araku. I would imagine the way that everything else is pronounced down there, that it would be the araku minnow. He was pretty good for the arapaimas, but did also very well with the large minnows on the arapaimas. They hit on them quite a bit. So what else did we do with the arapaimas in those baits? Live baits, the shiners. Shiners worked pretty good for us. Let's see, I'm going to take a look at my list over here, what I've got down on here. Oh, we ran out of our shiners, that's for sure. We ran out of the araku minnows. We ran out of them. Now, as far as the lures go, I'll tell you guys, it was definitely the walker, and I didn't take a walker with me. Thank God that was one of the, what was that? I think it was the second mission that you got the walker. Yeah, exploration 2, when you completed that, you got the 1 ounce walker. That was the only reason I had a walker in my tackle box. Bad move on my part there. Went down there without one of them. I took a lot of live baits with me. What did I take? I'm still there. I could take a look over here. Let me see, I don't have anything up over there. Let's get that out of there, over there. Let's get, what else do we need up there? Oh, we got everything over there. All right, let's swap over there and take a look at that. We'll go this way. All right. Now, that's live. Let's go over here. Get me on. There we go. Now, as far as the bass jigs, what I don't have. Let me see. Where's the spinning wheel? There we go. I took some bass jigs with me. I mean, I knew there was the peacock bass down there, so I was going to run. I had these in mind for that. I always take this is my normal spoonage. Just happens to be some casting rods, a flat spoon and a medium spoon, a couple of spinners. Luckily, I brought a buzzbait with me. When I was down there, I was talking to Spidey, and he was hitting them on the buzzbait and the rattlesnake worm. Now, that was something good there, the rattlesnake worm. Where are we at here? Let's go to, well, I don't have a rod up with a buzzbait on or anything. But the rattlesnake worm's a 4-inch, and he only goes on a 2 to 5, and we talked about that. Now, here's the kicker that I got. For the evening, I was having troubles with that evening bite, because I don't like when things slow down and I don't catch fish, to be quite honest with you. And the bite here at night really goes away, and you really got to work at it. But I did find some things that worked. The swim bait kind of works at night. I switched the rattlesnake worm up to a glow 5-inch worm. The glow worm right there, the 5-inch one. And I didn't slay them, but the bite on the buzz bait picked up at night with the glow worm versus the rattlesnake worm. So I'm going to make that statement and say, yeah, switch up at night. If you're down here and you're going to fish through the night, go ahead and throw that glow worm on there, the glow green 5-incher, and he's good for 3 to 6 aught hooks. So you're good to go there. Now this casting spoon that I took, a definite must. The Bayara hit on the casting spoon, the Jacundas hit on the casting spoon, and what the hell else? Oh, and of course the peacock bass hit on it. So that's one of those must baits that you want to bring along with you. This walker, is that big enough for that? Let me get me out of the way. All right, let's get me out of the way. There we go. All right, yeah, this walker, I bring a couple of walkers. Unfortunately, I only had this one here, and he worked really well, the Mad Acid Tiger one. So definitely bring him along, but bring a couple of walkers with you. Definitely this stick is a must for the first two. The flipping stick you gotta have. I mean, I love taking them, and as far as, you know, catching your panfish and your smaller fish, that's a must-have stick. And of course your Omni, you gotta have that small match rod, something in the 7-pound range, so you can feel all that bite. He's a sweet little guy. I like him all the time. All right, so, and those were our baits, so I wanted to talk about that table. Now, I've been rushing around. I'm gonna take it easy. I'm taking it slow. Where's my buddy Mike at? He's not here this week, I see. All right. Well, Mike, we had a good one today. We had a long week. What did I spend? I'm still there. 16 days. 16 days. Why does it do that to me every time? I don't know why it does this. There we go. It's tough. I'm just learning the new studio mode in OBS, so bear with me, guys. Like I said, I'm a fisherman. Although I should know this computer stuff pretty good. But, you know, this is new stuff. I've never done video editing before. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about sticks. We talked about the baits down there. We talked about the walker, the buzz baits, the night worm, the swim bait. Swim bait, definitely a must. When the walker died off, you got to go to you need to get down in that water column. So definitely have yourself some swim baits along. And that buzz bait, thanks Spidey on that one. That was a great one. I'm glad I had it with me, because that saved me when. And I'll tell you what, you fished the first 8 days down there, fellas, and it's the first. Now let's take a look at that. Let's walk back over there for a second here. Take a look at this. I'm always clicking without knowing where my stuff is. We're on, now here's day 16, 17, 18. Now it's looking at barrage. Well, I don't know, there on day 18, that barometric pressure is going to drop. So this is, depending on where it drops, it's either going to be this night down through here or this day coming up. Coming up through here is where they're going to hit pretty good when that's changing. But I went through 8 days. The first 8 days with beautiful weather, barometric, sunny and the barometer clear up high, and caught fish left and right. Day 9 to day 16. Well, day 16 it changed. The barometric pressure went back up, but I had 8 days of the barometric pressure in the dump, overcast, and rain off and on almost every day, all day long, here and there. So that second 8 days is rough, fellas. It's rough. By no means of the word there. You're gonna pull out your fishing skills with that one. But we had a lot of fun down there, that's for sure. Let's talk a little bit about fishing poles. Now, I don't even have pictures of these, any of this, so this is just going to be buck yakking along here. You basically got all fishing poles come as a blank, all right, and then they're made kind of for 4 different modes of operation, if you will. You have what's basically called a conventional or a bait caster. Now, a bait caster or conventional reel, the reel sits on top. It's a small spool, and line is put on and off via the guides. Now, the guides, very important. Guides on a fishing pole. Now, the guides on a conventional rod or a bait casting rod, they're small, And the reason for that is because the line comes off of the bait cast, off of a single small spool, very quickly. I.e., a lot of people can't throw bait casters because of the bird's nest, and it takes a lot. Every time you put a different weight lure on, you've got to readjust your spool so it spins freely. Now, the point why, if you ever look at your bait caster, it's got really tiny guides on it. And that's because the line moves so quickly and freely. Those guides keep that line from slapping around, and it makes it more precise for casting, more sensitive for flipping, like a flipping stick. If you're just going to flip, you want to use a bait casting rod to do that because they're more accurate. So that's one thing nice about those. Now, they taper quickly to a small, and so they start off slow and they get very tiny out at the very rod tip. And we talked about how good it was. Now, your next blank would be like a weighted blank. These are your fly rods. Now, your fly rods are completely different because basically they've got a guide down, the first guide near the reel, and that's normally called your stripper guide, because of the fact that it takes the most amount of beating, and your other guides are basically called snake guides. They're just a tiny wire that kind of feeds through, because you want your fly line to flow freely through that rod with no obstruction, no anything, because the reel never comes into play. As far as casting a fly rod or retrieving, your reel's not there. Basically, it's all done with your hand, and that's why they have that. That's why they have a stripper guide, which is a rather large first guide next to the reel, because that's where you're tugging on that when you're stripping a fly across the top, or whether you're doing your casting. That's the guide that takes the beating. So that now, if your saltwater fly rods, a lot of them have two, what they call stripper guides. The first two guides on the rod are large and strong, and that's the guides on a fly rod. Okay, so our next blank that they would make would be for the big game fish. Now, those rods, they come in a variety, large variety. But the big distinction in them is you're going to get some that basically have pretty heavy duty guides on them, or basically roller guides is what there are. And that's the first guide, and they have some smooth wheels with ball bearings, and they may have, especially for flipping, may have one of these roller guides as a tip guide. Now, these rods aren't meant for casting. They're meant specifically for trolling off the back of a boat. And so if you want a versatile saltwater rod, then I'd kind of skip the roller guides, unless you've got a big boat and you're going to do a lot of downrigger fishing. You don't want one of them. So, and that's your game rods with that. And then you've got your spinning rods. And that's, like I said, in our game we call them match rods, we call them telescopic rods, but it's basically they're all spinning rods except for the telescopic. And even that, it's a flipping stick. They're just 23-foot long sticks. I don't know why they call them telescopic. Some in the old days they used to span out like that, like a telescope. You click it all the way out. I don't know why that's what they keep the name for or not. I don't know. But now, spinning rod. Now, take a look at what a spinning rod does. We talk about its first guide near the reel. That's called a gathering guide, because a spinning rod, the difference with these guys is it's a rather large spool, and the line comes off of that spool in loops, large loops. So you have bigger guides, and then that tapers down to a smaller tip. And the more guides you have on a spinning rod, the more precise and accurate that spinning rod will let you be when it comes to casting, because it narrows down that looping line that's coming off of that large spinning reel through the first couple of guides, and then by the time it gets to the tip, it's narrowed down almost to like a bait caster. But however, it does have a larger tip on the end of it than a bait caster conventional rod does. And it's also meant when you're retrieving that, because it had that, the bail spins around, that's a large spool, and so it gathers line in loops, large hunks at a time. Very good for your recovery. But we look in here is, what is our recovery ratio? What is, with one crank of the reel, how many inches? 49 inches, then we get 39.5 inches. If you look at all your bait casters, that's a very small spool. So that's why you always have smaller recovery on the bait casting reels. You get to 27.5, 31. Nothing compared to the 49s and the our big rivers that we have with the 47-inch recovery on them. So that's what's nice about the spinning reels. And let me see, did we talk about everything with the spinning reels? Oh, and with your spinning reels, when we all talk in the game here, we're always talking about balanced setups. We want to do a balanced setup. Well, when you're doing this balanced setup in real life, you got to look at the fact of, you can't be putting on a spinning reel that has a large spool onto a rod that has that small gathering guide. That'll tell you right off the bat if you're mismatching your weapon. If your engine is bigger than your stick can handle that guide, you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to tell, whoa, I've got a hell of a reel here with a big spool on it, and I've got a stick with a small gathering guide right off the bat. Mismatch. You're going to get knots. You're going to get loops. You're going to have problems with that weapon. So that's something to think about. Just physically looking at something like that when you're balancing your setup. Not only just poundage and poundage, does the poundage of the stick match the drag of the reel. It's the size of the reel and the size of the guides on the stick. All right, let's jump back over here. Oh, did I work that right? Yeah, I did. Wonderful. All right, well, we're getting ready to leave Maku-Maku. I thought we'd take a look around because we're at the bait shop. So let's go to the Maku-Maku El Mercado. And let's take a look at what they got there for baits for us. Oh, they have all the deadly swim baits here. Oh, baits. Got some small cup bait. I haven't even looked at this shop yet, and I've been here for 15 days. And having on it $14.25 for the large minnows, the Dobson fly larva, meat chunks, okay. Got some chicken liver, kamu. I used that. Freshwater prawns, I used that. I used the Lambari fish quite a bit. The Dobson fly larva, big. Blood, I used that a little bit. I think I went after that. Was it the Oscar? Or one of the piranhas. The red-eye piranha, I think. I finally switched up to blood and picked him up. All right, meat chunk. I did throw some meat chunk out there while we were here. Yep. These here. The Araku minnow, definitely a must. The Dobson fly larva, definitely a must. I did not throw a freshwater crab in the water, fellas, so I can only say that for that. Let's take a look at what do they got for lures here. I didn't throw any soft baits out at all, so I did throw the I think it was a 2-inch craw. It was either 2. Is there a 2.5? Might have been a 2.5. 2, maybe it was 2-inch craw. I think it was that one right there, actually. I think it was that one. Nope, because I have that at home. I don't have it with me in my backpack. Maybe I took it back. I don't know. It's one that I have with me. Alright, I didn't use any slugs, which is called flukes. And nothing there, like I said, the walker. The swim bait. Now, I only had one swim bait on me. Now, this is the purple. I had the tiger. So that's the one I used a lot. And I had the Mad Acid Walker. I would like to have tried the perch walker too. I have one of them at home, but I didn't bring it. That's for sure. All right, that's pretty much them there. I did throw a popper a little bit out there. Didn't have a whole lot of luck with that. Of course, I didn't stick with it long either. All right, so that's what they have for there. All righty, so that's our lures and baits in there. That's really mainly all that concerns me about the bait shops when I come there. That's for sure. All right, guys. Well, I think that looks pretty good there. 48. We're down to there. No fish bin. All right. Well, we're done a little bit early. I got everything done. We're gonna call it quits for the day. I'm still down there. I'm gonna get home. It's been a long one. I guess we got the holidays are coming up next week. I know Wheezy Mouse is having a little get together here next Saturday. Next Sunday is the 17th. I think we'll have the bait shop next Sunday, but the following Sunday's Christmas Day. I don't know if the bait shop will be open on Christmas Day or not, to tell you the truth. We'll see how it goes. We'll play that one by ear. Buck might have a little bit too much eggnog over the Christmas holidays. I don't know. Maybe that'll be a fun bait shop. I don't know. All right, guys. Hey, it's been a long 3 weeks. We've been down in Peru. It's just a tough waterway. I like it. You gotta bring your game. All of it. Your deep water, your shallow, your nighttime skills. Bring it all here, because it'll test you. It's a lot of fun. I'm not probably going to be back on this waterway for a while. We're going to head to, I guess, where's our next shop that we're going to? Let me take a look over here. Where is, I think it's, where is it? Ah, Bolivia. Now, the Maran River in Bolivia. We're going to go down there. Let's see. Well, we can't take a look at any of that. Well, we're going to have a good time down there, that's for sure. We got a few missions to get done down there. That'll be our next set, fellas. So, hey, with that, I want to thank you. Let's get this back over here. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for subscribing. I hope you get something out of them. I have a lot of fun doing them. You guys got my email and stuff like that. Is it there? Nope, I can't do it. I'm not online. I'm on me. But why can't I put my email on? I don't know how that works. Oh, there it is. There we go. You're learning, Buck. One of these days you'll get her down. There you have it, guys. Send me an email. Let me know. Hey, I got my lake guide out too. If you want a copy of that, go ahead and send me an email. I'll shoot you a copy of that. So, with that being said, we're gonna hang it up for this evening. Had a long week. Enjoy the holidays. Be safe. We'll see you next week. We'll be down in Bolivia. We'll see how it goes down there. Well, thank you for watching. Remember, never ever give up the fight. We'll see you later.